First off, I want to say thank you to anyone who watched last year's top 10 video. I genuinely wasn't expecting it to even get 50 views, and in just a month, it got 15 times that amount. So thank you all very much for watching my silly little video, but now on to this year's silly little top 10 video. Same rules apply, only games I first played in 2024 can count for the list. Doesn't matter when it came out, no remakes, remasters, or re-releases of games I've already played. So let's jump into number 10. To the surprise of a few people, I really like Tycoon games. Think games like Game Dev Tycoon, Roller Coaster Tycoon, and to be honest, a lot of Roblox Tycoon games that I played when I was a kid. Yes, Roblox is that old. So I've been meaning to play Potionomics for a while now. Setting up a potion shop is hard work, making potions, dealing with customers, wanting to get things for as cheap as possible while getting your supplies, upgrading your shop, gaining friends, and trying to keep sane. Yes, I know for people that doesn't sound too far off of their real life, but this time we play with cards to settle things and raise our prices. This is actually one of the most exciting and in-depth mechanics to mess around with, even if I have no idea what I'm doing half the damn time and just fall back onto the strategy I know. And this is one of the reasons I haven't finished this game. I do really like it, and I want to go in blind to enjoy it. I just don't know how to make good enough potions, or raise the price enough to beat the first rival fight in the competition. Until I was recording footage and got distracted by playing the game again, and finally did it! Which means I get to play more of this. You have legitimately no idea how excited this makes me. I get to play more of this game. I just have to finish my freelance work, get this video out on time, do my regular 9-to-5 job, and try to keep sane while dealing with all my friends' shenanigans and family. But I get to play the game! Now, with Nintendo's huge catalog of games, I'm not going to play all of them when they come out. If that wasn't already obvious, Kirby is one of those series that comes and goes for me. I don't pick up every game, but I still play some of them from time to time. So grab some friends for Kirby's Star Allies. Yes, that's the one I own. Apparently not the other ones. Kirby is so friendly that I even gave a Kirby game to my mom who doesn't play video games, so Kirby is very fun and very easy, which the latter basically summarizes my feelings on Star Allies. I don't think it's a challenging game with the buddy mechanic teaming up with Kirby's friends and enemies, from the little guys to the eldritch horrors of Kirby's final bosses. And if you use any of them, it basically makes the game a lot easier. But otherwise, it's Kirby, not much else you can really say. The story goes from simple to the before mentioned eldritch horrors. If I want to, I could get my mom to play this, and I could be the eldritch horror. Hey Max, you need a hand? We all love gambling, right? Well, you know, as long as it's not with real money, be reasonable with that. Doesn't grow on trees, you know? It seems like a good day for a poker night at the inventory. Funny enough, me and a friend for some reason wanted to play poker ages ago. We didn't have the same game for it besides GTA 5 Online, and we didn't want to lose actual money, so I tried to boot up Poker Night at the Inventory too, which didn't launch because of some bullshit. So I spent the night playing Poker Night at the Inventory with the Heavy from TF2, Max from Sam & Max, Strong Bad from Homestar Runner, and this guy named Tycho. I don't know who this guy is. Please someone tell me. He rolls dice, and for some reason I keep getting to him as the last guy in the round. Help me. As for the gameplay, it's poker. If you know how to play poker, you know how to play this. And by that, I mean you can always bluff your ass off, even if the AI can't fall for your bluffs as obviously as I would. Or they can bluff you and still somehow get 4 of a kind. Oh shit, he's got a pair of 3s. 4 of a kind, you motherfucker.
4 of a kind. The player has a full house. Tycho wins the hand.
I figured you weren't gonna like these cards.
How do you keep getting a full 4 of a kind, you motherfucker. Strong Bad, stop taking my money. My friends always get me to play random multiplayer shooters from Apex Legends to Fortnite and anything in between. And sometimes NHL, but this time hopefully is the last one for a while because it is literally the finals. The finals honestly feel like the multiplayer shooters I missed out on growing up with all the kill stealing, teabagging, kill stealing, 10-year-olds with no life owning me just because I can't play as much as them, and lastly kill stealing. My friend wouldn't let me get away with all that, so yeah, he got very mad. With the arcade-like feel of the quick cash game mode, it's not like Apex where you die early and your team couldn't get your respawn banner, you're just out for the rest of the game. You're meant to die in the finals, and that's okay. The game is crazy fun, and sometimes I can clutch the win. I just wish I was more consistent at it. The one thing I really want is more game balance. Some weapons are just too strong. And I'm on fire again. Fuck you, asshole heavy! One of the strongest elements of the finals is how much you can destroy the buildings you're in. They can fall on you, and that can make the games so much more chaotic and fun. Now, just one last kill steal from my friend, and we'll move on. I'll be honest, this next game is a shameless nostalgia grab for anyone who grew up on a PlayStation. But it did win Game of the Year, so is Astro Bot worthy of the praise it has gotten? The answer is yes. Astro Bot is a 3D platformer that is really good, and it isn't an indie game. That's probably the most surprising thing from the last decade, because it's been the indie scene that's been keeping the 3D platformers alive. Think A Hat in Time, and so many more other examples that I can't think of off the top of my head because I'm improvising this. Demon Turf, that's another one I think is good. Also helps that it's a load of references to other PlayStation games, from the popular to the holy shit I can't believe they remembered that. Running around and jumping feels great. The different play styles for the levels that have them are also really fun to play. But that's not to say the base platforming is bad, it's actually really fun, and the level design is really good too. And some of the surprises are actually really well hidden as well. It's also not to say the game is too easy either. If you try to go for 100%, there are a lot of challenging levels, specifically the final level that has no checkpoints. It was great to get all the other bots, but holy shit, all the effort that went into getting the last one for a character reference of a game I didn't even play. Now, with all the praise this game has gotten, I do have some negatives. I wish there were more costumes that you could play for the variety of different characters. I do like that there's a Jak and Daxter and Sly Cooper one, but what's stopping you from having a Joker one, for example? Or an Aegis one? Or whoever the guy from Persona 4 is? And unlocking the items to see just how vast these references go from the vending machine, as much as I do like them, I don't really like how random it feels at times. There could be a bot you've had for a long time, but you still haven't randomly gotten the item for it yet, even if it's a character you really want to see the item animation for. So as much as I really like this game, Sony should listen to this and make a few more, maybe a new Jak and Daxter or Sly Cooper. I would say Ratchet and Clank, but let's face it, they really never left. What happens when you mix bug extermination, a crazy bastard, and a lot of references? No, it's not Dale from King of the Hill. I'm talking about Daxter, the PSP game. How many people even know of King of the Hill these days? Is that the Pocket Sand guy? Personally, let me just get this straight. Is Daxter a better game than Astro Bot? No, but I'm a big fan of Jak and Daxter, so that was basically the deciding factor for me. The story begins after Jak and Daxter get sent to Haven City and separated from each other. Daxter spends nearly 2 years of the time gap telling stories at a bar until he gets a job as a bug exterminator, fighting the metalhead bugs, until he remembers Jak exists and finally goes to rescue him. Now, this does have some fun story bits that we see to help bridge the elements from Jak 2 and 3. They weren't needed, kid to enjoy the other game's stories, but they don't take anything away from those stories, so they don't hurt either. So they're just very nice to see. Gameplay-wise, it plays like a simple platformer based on the Jak and Daxter gameplay, but it's really cool to see. The bosses are really interesting. I actually didn't even expect to see bosses in this game, and being a bug exterminator fits Daxter really well, as he can get into spaces most people can't, while also allowing for some fun mechanics. He's still a horny bastard though. It's a very common stereotype that Persona 5 fans haven't played any other Persona games, and I haven't been any different until now. But which one was it? Well, let's climb up how many floors of this fucking tower in Persona 3 Reloaded? No, seriously, Dan, how many floors? Oops, sorry, wrong game. Being the new kid at school can be tough in any case, but this has to be one of the worst times a new kid can come to a new school when the leader, which, as a side note, the leader sounds very much like a cult leader, which is a little true for the story of the game, but that's besides the point. But so back on track. When the leader signs his life away and meets the first few members of SEES, think the less flashy Phantom Thieves, which is probably for the best. The less latex on teenagers, the better. While leaving schools and going to Mementos at night? Wait a minute, that's not right. Cult Tartarus. And why is it at night? Legitimately one of the oddest things for me. And while I'm on the topic of odd things for me, getting the Velvet Room key on the first trip and Igor's voice. I know these are normal things for Persona games, but when you're used to P5, you're not getting either of those till endgame, so that's odd for me. The confidants are also odd to me, mainly the balance between the day and night being very off. There are so many daytime ones and very few nighttime ones. I got all of them, and I was concerned when I was playing that I was missing them. But to be fair, you have a lot of time for them. To me, not knowing how many there are or how to get them all, I got all but 3 to the max level. Yeah, I can't say I cared for some of the clubs. And Yukari, I'm sorry I just didn't give you enough time. Let's be honest, a Zelda game released, we both know it was gonna be on the list this year. But this time it's special, because we're playing as Zelda for the first time in a mainline Zelda game, which the closest thing beforehand was Spirit Tracks unless you count those CDI games. So let's see how Echoes of Wisdom shapes up. Echoes of Wisdom is a unique Zelda game in more ways than one. For starters, Zelda doesn't need a sword to fight. As a princess, she gets her echoes to fight for her while taking a nap. From the smallest enemy to a Lynel. And if you haven't seen the Lynel, you're just not looking hard enough. Because it's there, even if it's a pain in the ass to find. Rifts are opening up all over Hyrule, but Ganon has kidnapped Zelda, and Link has already been on a journey to rescue her. And if we get DLC for this game, I would actually like to see Link's adventure. A long shot, I know, but maybe. Once Ganon is defeated, he seemingly summons a rift that takes Link, and in Link's final action before not seeing him for most of the game, he saves Zelda. And after a bit, Zelda goes off to save Hyrule. The Echoes are a unique way of both problem solving and combat. As much as it's not everyone's cup of tea, I really enjoyed how out of the box I was able to think for some of these puzzles, or how I was able to cheese some of these fights, or sleep through them. Yeah, I deserve that one. If you told me a multiplayer shooter would ever rank this high on my list for any year, I would have told you you're full of shit. But democracy can't spread itself, so let's dive into Helldivers 2. Yes, this game, with no single player story mode. There is a story, but it's mostly told in small details that you're not going to notice as you blast bugs, bots, or the returning Luminids. And you'll be fighting, running, or calling down a stratagem or your friends to kill the big thing trying to kill you. Missions can take some time, somewhere up in the 45-minute range, but they often don't feel like you're taking that long. If anything, sometimes they feel like they don't last long enough. It may depend on your friends, depending on how much of an asshole they are. Or if your friend dropped the game from Sony's bullshit. If it isn't obvious, I'm a big PlayStation fan, but I can't defend Sony for needing PC players to have a PSN account, partially because it's not available in every country that was already selling the game on Steam. Steam did well in this situation, and yes, I'm blaming Sony, not the devs too much. They did put it in the description on Steam, but it's obvious it's not their choice. So all I have left to say for Sony this year is, can you not ruin what little goodwill you have for 5 minutes? Can't say I expected this game to be number 1, but I had so much fun while playing, and I know one of my friends will message me when they see this about wanting to watch more Star Wars movies. I guess you could call me a Jedi survivor. No, I'm not sorry. As we continue the story of Cal Kestis, we find out that some time has passed and all of his friends have moved on from fighting the Empire, directly anyway, while Cal is still fighting the good fight, with some new faces that admittedly don't make it out of the opening level besides one, in the form of Bo. Cal travels around the galaxy to find his friends and try to find someplace safe for everyone he cares about. When he finally finds a lead, it goes about as well as you would think, but that's not to say the story has no twists that I didn't see coming. There were a few that surprised me, and on the gameplay front, it's just an improvement on Fallen Order, notably in the new stances. Now, I just kept to the basic single and dual lightsabers for most of the game, while trying out the other stances, usually when I needed to try a new idea for whatever problem I was facing. Normally, that was for the bigger bosses, as for some reason with the human enemies, I didn't have too much trouble. With, a few exceptions that I won't say any more about because those are some of the coolest moments in the game. Thank you all very much for watching the video. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Comment down below on your top 10 games of the year or just your favorite game, whatever you wish. And I will catch you guys next time. Later!